Hey, Chiz, let's chat. So I'm gonna jump right into it, right? Because I got a little story time and it's kind of lengthy. So, anyways, this just to reiterate that a lot of times we give people, the benefit of the doubt, as we should. But I think in the back of our mind, we should always keep in mind that when certain situations or circumstances present themselves, you cannot always depend on a person to be honest, to keep it 100, to keep it a buck, to, when people are in the hot seat, they gonna do what's best for them and what they may feel is the best interest for them or their family or their situation at the time, and it may not make any sense to you, and you may just really want to say, I know good well they wouldn't do that, I know good well they didn't do that, and a lot of times, yes, good and well they definitely did it, right? So just keep in mind when you're dealing with people that to not put anything past them, to not just wholeheartedly say, I know good well they, because a lot of times those very things that you feel like a person would not do, did not do, can't do, a lot of times people will surprise you, Now I believe there should be a level of, integrity, morality, something. There should be some type of level where you can just say, I just don't believe she would do that, And you can believe that, right? But you also have to know that even though you just do not believe that, there is still a slim possibility that that very thing could have happened, So let me get into the storyline, right? So when I was a little girl, right, I remember one time hearing an argument that my mom was having on the phone with her dad, and there was a word that she used that I always will remember, and she had called him a bigamist, right? And of course I didn't know what that was, but I know with the voice that she said it wasn't anything that was good, right? So anyways, remind you, I had never even really known who her dad was at that point. Never had met him or anything like that. Still to this day, I have never officially met him, right? I know who he is. I've been around him. When I see him, I know him, because I've been around him at funerals and stuff like that, right? But I am definitely his oldest grandchild, and I have never had, the pleasure of meeting him, right? So here's why. So my grandma was married to him. My grandma had 5 kids from him, right? I think my grandma may have got married maybe 17, 18, somewhere along those lines. She was married. She was a housewife, stayed home. So anyways, fast forward, he go to the military. At this point, they're getting ready to break up. She want to be done with him, right? So while he's in the military, she's getting benefits for her children, as she should. But the marriage is definitely going to be over, and they're going to get a divorce as they end up getting a divorce, right? I believe, by the time they got a divorce, though, he may have been out of the military, right? So anyways, my mom has a sister that's older than her, right? Now, she has always been like a daddy's girl kind of girl, right? And so when I was a little girl, she had moved to Syracuse, and me and my youngest aunt went to visit her, and I remember seeing a lady who looked just like my mom. Like, I'm like, wow, I remember like this lady looked just like my mom, So I don't know at that time, but that's my mom's sister, right, from her dad's side. So what had happened was my mom's dad had married another woman, right, and had kids with her, and the kids that he had, they were like very similar in ages to my mom and her siblings. Although my mom and her siblings were older, but some of their kids were like woven in between. Like you had a baby over here, then you went and had a baby over there, you know, stuff like that was going on, right? So that's why I see this lady who is looking just like my mama. So remind you, my mom and them, you know, my grandma was married to him. My mom and them spent the summers like with one of their favorite aunts, which was their dad's sister. And you know, it just was what it was. Like, you know, my mom and them knew exactly who their family was. Their family knew who they were. Like, it was a marriage. So in fact, one of the first people I remember seeing in a casket was my mother's grandmother, which would have been my great grandmother on my mom's dad's side. So it was never any questioning about who my mom and them were, you know. So as we come to learn that when he married this other lady, though, when their dad married his wife, he had been telling a little white lie that he ain't had no kids, etc., so forth. And you know, right now, I remind you, like I say, him, my grandma was married, they had 5 kids. So this joker just went with his lie, and, you know, stuck to it to a certain time. So once my auntie, who was, like I said, her daddy's girl, once she went to Syracuse and lived there for a while, okay, he conceded to her being his kid. Because now my auntie is like the type that, like, she like the Devo type. You know, she gonna just show up at your door like, hey, daddy, you like, ain't gonna be no denying her. She's not going to take that, you know. So he pretty much was forced to concede that, right? All right, so as they, you know, had grown up or whatever, it was always talk of, you know, 2 families, kids with both. So once my auntie had moved to Syracuse, and you know, she telling her sisters and brothers on that side, like, hey, it's more of us. And you know, and the funny thing was, is like they had kids who resembled my grandma kids. It wasn't just my mama had a sister that looked like her. I got 2 more uncles that had brothers that looked like them, you know. So it really was a situation where it was like absolutely no reason to just be telling lies, because the proof was all up and through the pudding, right? So as the kids were, you know, getting older and grown and stuff, you know, if they came to Florida or whatever, you know, they'll tap in with my grandma. They might even stay at my grandma's house. You know, my grandma was just like, she already know what time it was. Like, hey, I know I was married to this man, I had kids from this man. Now what he went and did over there, hey, y'all gotta make sure y'all stuff legit, because she know her stuff was legit. She was getting, you know, military benefits and everything. So one no denying her stuff. But for whatever reason, he felt like he had to lie to his wife. And when I tell you, that joker kept that lie going. And the funny thing is like, see, with us women, a lot of times, like I was saying, our vision be so blurred sometimes, and we just want to give that person the benefit of the doubt. So the whole time you going with, the lady was going with what he was saying, even though it's living, proven children. Of course, the internet wasn't booming back then or none of that. But at the same time, if you got kids that's saying, hey, we got a whole family, you just choosing to keep believing that joker, right? You choosing to keep believing the lie that he's telling you, right? So they had a daughter, him and his wife had a daughter who she was, you know, she was a little daddy's girl, and she was a mom's girl too. So as the years rolled by, you know, by this time, you know, we started meeting our other uncles and everything, and it's like it's a big family to us. Like, it ain't, at this point, everybody growing, it don't really matter. But it's just a point that he continues, the granddaddy continues to stick with his lie that he don't have, you know, other kids other than my auntie. So you know, and through the years, his baby girl on her side or whatever, You know, she would call my grandma, you know, and it's almost like high key disrespect. You calling my grandma, trying to make her show you receipts, you know, only for you to still be him and her like it ain't good enough. Cause one thing about it, you know, my grandma had them receipts. If she go in that closet, baby, believe she coming out with the receipts. You hear me? So she had stuff like marriage certificate, birth certificate. She had her stuff, you know. But no matter what, she would show up, approve or bring out. The girl just didn't want to believe that her daddy was that big of a liar, that joker had done, you know, told a lie and stuck to it for decades, literally, right? So fast forward to this particular day, right? This day had me a little excited because I just could not believe this taught me one of the biggest life lessons that I could ever learn. I get a call and my mama saying that she's heading to Walmart, right? They're going up to the new Walmart that we had just got built, and they about to go to the pharmacy and do a DNA test. At how old? So she was like, yeah, you know. So her and her daddy child hadn't had, you know, some words, etc., so forth. So hey, it come down to it, you know, they want some DNAs. So now in my mind, ain't nowhere in the world you gonna pull up to this Walmart, walk in here and do DNA tests on kids that you know are yours. Like you was married to this lady. Like, are you serious? And you gonna pay for it? You got to be the dumbest joke in the world. Cause saying to me, soon as we pull up in Walmart, I'm just gonna be honest with you. But that's just me. So yeah, messing around, and so now, like I said, I'm a little excited about this because I ain't seen no foolishness like this ever at this point in time in life. So I call my oldest uncle, right? And I say, ooh, you know, hey, you know, they finna go get a DNA test. You want me to come get you or whatever? So he stuttered or whatever. So he like, nah, I ain't got nothing to do with all that. You know, he ain't want to be a part of the circus, you know. So, but my other uncle, I called him. I'm like, hey, we finna go up here to do a DNA test. You want to go? So he was like, yeah, all right. So boom, we get up there. My mama up there, my mama's sister, you know. But like I said, my mama's sister, you know, she always been like a daddy's girl type. So she just, you know, it's just regular for her. So their daddy up there with his wife. And I am just amazed. I'm like when I say buddy got a unit on his face so hard, like he's so mad that he's basically being forced to come in and do this, right? So so then my grandma and her sister come up there. When I say my grandma was so sporty and fly, you hear me, looked good, right? But my grandma, she always looked good though, for real. That's kind of where I get like style and stuff like that from. Her and my aunt, they were always, you know, like that. So she come in there, she fly, she sporty, she, you know, looking good. She ain't say nothing. She just, you know, there basically to support her kids, you know. So it's weird because it's like we all up in Walmart pharmacy area, you know. Little words get exchanged with my auntie, between my mama, my auntie, and the other their daddy other daughter. So everybody go to taking their swap. So here's the thing though, see, the joker got a unit because really he was only expecting maybe one kid to show up. I believe he was only maybe expecting to like either do my mom or either do my auntie or something. So now that my mama, auntie, and one of your sons done showed up, joker, you got 3 blood tests to pay for. Ain't no way in the world. Now anybody with good sense would say, okay, surely he finna just go ahead and confess, right? He ain't finna pay for, because they was like at least $150 a pop, you know, at that time. Do you know this joker went through the whole thing, the whole mouth swat, everybody. So you know it don't take but a couple days for the little thing to come back or whatever. Guess what this joker tried to do? Y'all know this joker done tried to cancel the payment on the credit card. He done tried to stop payment. Yeah. Now that's when his daughter finally was like, no, we ain't gonna stop this. Like, you know, why would you want to stop payment? Why would you go through the motions and do all that only to try to stop payment if you ain't lying? Okay, so well, we already knew the inevitable. You know, you didn't stop the payment, or she didn't allow it. Some kind of way she maneuver, and it didn't stop payment, even though she did find out he did try to stop the payment. Okay, it comes back. It is what it is. You know what it is. Now what you say? So I said all that to say, this joker stuck with a lie for over 50 years. I mean, can you imagine the hurt and disappointment that had to be there for the wife who believed it all the years, and for the daughter who she just didn't think her daddy would do such a thing, and oh, this is the only family he has. That's why, listen, a lot of times y'all have to realize people done had lives before y'all. People had whole lives before you. You know, and if you make it hard on them to divulge the truth, okay, well then, if the lie is easier, sometimes people just gonna go with what's easier. Because why? Because you clearly can't handle the truth. Sometimes people just big liars, and that's just who they are. But other times they will lie to spare your feelings when they realize you acting like it's gonna hurt you so much that this man, you know, had a family before you. But what it was is that you had a family during the time. You done got this woman under the guise of being single, knowing you already was married to another woman and had a whole family. So yeah, of course you want to tell you feel bad about what you did, but you don't feel bad about lying and denying your kids for all them years, kids, grandkids, all of that. So yeah, so just keep in mind, like I said, that was one of the biggest life lessons that I ever learned. That yes, a person will lie to the death of them. Because that man would have took that to his grave had it not been on paper and proven. You hear me? So putting stuff past people, you'll be crazy to put some past people, because if it benefits them, listen, if it benefits them or a loved one, they will lie to the very end. And that's what you have to know. That is a part of a person's nature. That if they have to protect them, if it's you or them, listen, a lot of times it's just gonna have to be you, because it ain't gonna be them. Like, you just gonna have to prove beyond a reasonable shadow of a doubt, you know. So just know that people have stuff in them that you would never believe, you know. And when you really and truly understand that make you want to take a step back and really think before you bring somebody into your circle. You know, whether it's being intimate with them, whether it's being friends with them, whether it's, you know, anytime you bring somebody into your personal space and square, you want to have a really, really good concept of who they are, but you still also want to keep in mind that at the end of the day, if push ever came to shove, you cannot be surprised with whatever decisions they make, because you know that chances are they're going to protect themselves first. So just know that about people. Y'all enjoy your day.